Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Roland. I work as a personal development tutor at Edinburgh Napier University. And today I want to talk about how to write an essay, how to write your dissertation, and specifically about using a reference manager. A reference manager is a piece of software that lets you store and use your references and citations that you need to complete academic work. And one of the things that makes me really recommend doing this as early as possible is that we all know it is very difficult to remember the correct way of citing and referencing depending on what kind of referencing system you are supposed to use for your work. The reference manager will do all that for you. You don't have to search every single time you are looking for how do I reference and cite this particular item. And you don't need to find the references in the first place. Once you have them and once you store them, they are yours to use forever. So what we are going to do is, first of all, let's go to the reference manager of choice for this particular video. Your university may have a different reference manager, for example, from Elsevier, NVivo, or whatever reference manager your particular university is recommending. They all work very, very similar. But before we can use it, we need to download it. I'm obviously on Windows and I am using Zotero. But whether you have macOS or any form of Linux, there is a way for, I would say, 99.999% of operating systems to get Zotero on your desktop. You will also need to install the Zotero connector for your browser. That is this little button here. And what it does, it makes it easier for you to transfer information about the document you want to cite and reference into your database on your Zotero. You will need to make an account here. So you need to register and then log in, download the Zotero, connect it with your account, add the connector, and another piece of software you will need is the plugin for your word processor. That installs automatically, but if not, there's a way to do this manually. So once we have this, we are going into Zotero now. Here we go. So now what we do with the Zotero is, you can see I have already stored a lot of references, and the first way to put one of these references into the Zotero system so that you can use it later on is to go by an identifier, which is the magic wand here, and it says use ISBN, DOI, or another identifier. And that is exactly what we are going to do right now. Let's change back to our browser and go to Science Direct. I have already searched for CSR and we want to add the first item here, corporate social responsibility and customers' responses, CSR authenticity, by Tanku, Esni, Balkia, and a few others. So what we want to do is, let's click on this. And the first way to do this is going by the DOI. If it was a book, it would be, of course, an ISBN number. Copy. Going back to our Zotero. Here we are. So, and what we do, we press the magic wand, enter the DOI, and the DOI starts here with 10.1016. So we delete the rest. We hit enter, and here we go. The item we have added is obviously a journal article with the title as we have seen, and the authors listed here. It also contains the other information that we need, for example, publication, name, volume, issue, the number of pages, and the date. There is other information here, and depending on what kind of item you are adding, this information can be pulled from the identifier, or if the identifier doesn't work, which can happen with brand new books, for example, you simply press here that big green button and you choose what you want to add. Book, book section, journal article, and so forth. Here is more. But there is one thing you need to bear in mind. Let's say we want to add some artwork. And over here on this window pane, we put in all the information that we have about this item. So let's say it's a website, which happens quite often that we have to do this manually. We need to click on item type. Whatever item type it is, we can change that later and put in here web page. That is one of the things that is a bit difficult at first. Let me delete those two items because I don't need them. And that is essentially 2 out of the 3 ways how you can add items to your Zotero. Now, third way to do this is even easier. Let us go back to the browser. And let's say you want to add this website as a whole, as a document to add this. It's possibly going to use the information from the article. When I do that now, yeah, save to Zotero Science Direct, we simply click the Zotero connector that we installed earlier. It pops up, saving to my library. Here we go. And when we go back to Zotero, voila, here it is, journal article with abstract and everything. This is particularly useful when it is a website, because then you don't have to change the item type to website. Now, there is one more thing that we need to do, and that is the setup of your Zotero as when you download it and installed it as a first start. I have slightly enlarged this so you can see what happens when you are pressing Edit, Preferences. This window will pop up. Now, when you first install Zotero, you want to go to the Sync tab, add your account name, mine is obviously my name, and add in your password so that this is synchronized with the database in Zotero and you can pull it and update it at any time. So what you want to do is, or what you can do is, you can set the citation and referencing style that you want to use. You can also do that and change that in your Word document, which I'm going to show you next. And you can add additional styles, which you probably not gonna do. What is important and what I suggest you do at this stage as well is you click on word processors. Here is where you can reinstall the Microsoft Word add-in as well as the LibreOffice Writer add-in. I'm going to show you what that means in a moment. But here in this screen, I want you to tick the box, use classic add citation dialog. There's a reason for that, and I'm going to explain more now when I'm going into the Word document. So what we want to do, we are changing to Microsoft Word. And you can see I already have the tab open here. After you installed your Zotero is a tab Zotero. It's the same thing in your LibreOffice Writer application, but most students will have access to MS Word via their university. So what we want to do is we are typing our document, and now we want to cite something. Now, add citation. For me, it pops up like so. And let's say we want to cite Porter, 1996, What is Strategy? And we want to cite page 67. You just add that, and voila, here it pops up in the correct format. What we also want to do is to add our reference list, which we can do very simply by add edit bibliography, push the button, here it comes, and here we go. So one other thing that is constantly happening is we want to cite more than one source. And that is the reason why I have changed to the classic citation dialog. It is much easier to do that in the classic citation dialog, as well as a couple of other things, for example, adding page numbers. And we press multiple sources and add with this green little arrow what we want to add. And for every single entry, we can add a prefix, for example, C for example. And we add the suffix here and others. We add a page number here. Press OK. And here we have our citation and our reference list automatically updated. That also happens if you would delete one of the references. Now, if, for example, you have set up your document, you have put in your citations, your references, and you find out, well, my supervisor, my university wants a different kind of referencing style, you press Document References. I'm on APA, but let's say they want Elsevier Harvard with title. We don't want to use abbreviations. And OK. Boom, it changes and is now according to this other referencing style. Now, that's about it. What is there to say about using a reference manager? And I hope you can see why this will save you a lot of time of typing, remembering, and generally improve your workflow. My name is Roland. I work at Edinburgh Napier University as a personal development tutor, and I hope this was helpful for you, for all those that are writing dissertations or their essays.